Okay, so we're gonna start with our feet about hip width or shoulder width apart, toes facing forward, and we're gonna come back to this position, this foot position, regularly. So anywhere between hip height and shoulder width apart is gonna be different for everyone. And we're just gonna tune in to the bottom of our feet. So you can close your eyes if you'd like, or you can leave them open. Whatever you can do to put your attention, your mind, in the bottom of your feet. So what do the soles of your feet feel like on the ground? Can you feel your arches? Can you feel all 10 toes on the ground? Where is the weight distributed? Is it more in your heels? Is it more in the balls of your feet? More on the inside or outside? More weight in the left foot or the right foot? And we don't need to go into any stories. We're just looking at what's here. Just looking at the raw data. So the mind wants to jump to interpretation sometimes, like, oh my gosh, my posture is so wrong, or it should be different. But we don't need those interpretations here. Just keep going back to the raw data. What is the sensation? So feeling the bottom of the feet, feeling your 10 toes. And if you had your eyes closed, just gently open them. And we're going to put a little magnet on top of our head. So this area here is the Marshall crown. So it's a little bit further back from the yogic crown. Just a little further back. When this part of our body draws up, like let's say there's a magnet on the top of our head and a magnet on the ceiling, it's drawing our head up towards the ceiling. When that happens, the back of our neck elongates. So we have a nice long neck. Here, the chin is slightly tucked, so we're not cranking our head back. Chin is slightly tucked, and that means everything else gets to fall away from that point. So your head is rising, we say the crown is rising, and your shoulders are dropping away from it, your hips are dropping away. So that's the energy, the yang energy going towards the ceiling, and the rest of your body, all the soft tissue falling away. And again, the bones staying up and the flesh dropping down. So that's another place we're going to find ourselves going back to. We can take a deep breath and bring our arms out to the sides of our body. Let them come to about shoulder height, and then we're going to roll the shoulder blades down the back and put a little squat in the hips so that our butt is kind of as though it's sitting on a chair behind us, sitting on the bar stool, they say. Okay? Shoulders rolled back, a little squat in the hips, and then we're going to look to the right hand and let that right hand get drawn towards the side of the room. So it's like you're trying to touch the wall. And then look towards your left hand, same thing. Let the left hand get drawn towards the side of the room like you're trying to touch the wall. Letting that arm stretch out, opening all of the joints of the elbow and the shoulder and the wrist. Bring your head back to center. Roll the shoulder blades down your back again. Make sure you have a little squat in the hips. And then we're going to flip the palms and bring them up over our head in that nice extension of the arm. And then they're going to flip towards us. And we're going to bring them down the center channel of the body. So just about in front of us. And it's though you're pressing down like you're a coffee press, like a French press. You're pressing down any energy in the body that you don't need and letting things settle. So taking some nice slow breaths. There's a little bit of resistance under your hands, so you're not just going through the air, right? There's something under it that you're pressing out. You're pressing out any energy that we don't need, any extra tension in your body maybe. Bring the hands down the center of your body, and once they reach the bottom where they can't go any further, keep your intention, your mind, as though you're pressing all the way down your legs, through your legs, out the soles of your feet, and into the ground. And that energy just gets recycled into the earth, absorbed back into the earth. Let your hands drop, let your shoulders relax. Take a deep breath. And then we're going to go again. Bring the arms to the sides of the room. Roll your shoulders down. Make sure you have a little squat in your hips. The knees will bend slightly. Feet about shoulder width apart. Toes facing forward. You have that magnet on the top of your head, right? So the back of your head is lifting up. Look towards your right hand and let it be drawn to the side of the room, like someone's pulling your arm there. And look towards the left, someone's pulling your arm towards the side of the room. So your shoulders are getting pulled further and further apart. Look towards the center. Let's just take another moment to feel that both arms are getting further and further apart. Your shoulders are getting further and further apart. Keeping that head elongated, the back of the neck elongated. And then we'll bring our arms up in that extension. And the palms are going to face us as we bring our arms down the center channel of the body, as though we're a big French press. We're filtering out anything dense, dark, heavy, anything we don't need. As our hands pass over different parts of our body, we let that energy that we don't need go. We let our hands draw the energy down, press the energy down. As they pass through our abdomen, torso, hips, everything, every nook and cranny, coming into our awareness. And continuing down the legs, all the way down through the thighs, through the knees, through the shins, the soles of the feet. Good. Let the arms drop for a moment. Take a moment to do nothing. And we'll go again. Nature has unlimited refills now, so we're going to, this time, be focused on what we can bring in. So one more time, look to the side, look to the right, stretch out, look to the left, stretch out, look to the center, and then we'll bring our arms up overhead. And now we're going to see what beautiful thing we could bring in. So take a look outside and see what you connect with. Maybe the beautiful green plants, maybe the color of the ocean, maybe some sparkly sunlight. And we're going to let that come into our now more spacious body. So bringing in some yang energy, some chi, life energy from outside. So this movement is actually called drawing in chi from nature. So now as our hands pass, it sends this life energy into our body. And we just feel a little more spacious, a little more open, sparkly, whatever positive yang type energy you can bring into your awareness. Bring it all the way down your legs. Don't forget about your legs. All the way to the soles of your feet. Good, and take a moment to do nothing. Noticing there's still some movement inside of you, even though you're being still. And now we're going to speed that up and make it more like just let momentum take us. So we're shifting our weight into one leg and turning the belly button and the nose into the direction of the weighted leg. So we're just swinging our body. Our torso is vertical, and our hands are just hitting the sides of our body. So you guys are all doing a pretty good job not staying stuck. So we're really shifting the weight from one leg to the other, and the leg that's emptying, the one that doesn't have weight in it, just let the knee fall towards the center, nice and soft. And we're going to start drumming on our body, starting at the shoulders. So let the hands, steer them up towards the top of your shoulders, let them tap. So we're waking up all these acupuncture points, all these energy points. So up here we have the lungs. And then we're going to drum just a little lower on our body. Let the hands fall maybe to the tops of your arms. Still keeping that weight transferring leg to leg. The knee falling towards the center of your body. And the head staying over the belly. Keep going a little lower. Maybe your arms hit the sides of your hips, the sides of your belly, sides of your torso. And then I'm going to turn around so you can see where I want you to land on your back, which is the low back. So the back of your hand comes up and taps the low back area. So that's could be above the glutes or on the glutes, all the way up to the bottom of the ribs. This is your kidney energy center. This area is called the Ming Men. And that means the gate of life or the door of life. So we're knocking on the door of life here, clearing any energy stagnation in the kidneys. The kidneys store fear, the emotion fear. So as we tap here, we're kind of changing the energy, but also we're loosening the tissue. We're just letting our body get a little softer as we tap here. And then we're going to swing to stillness. So get your feet back under about hip width apart and let your arms swing until they stop swinging on their own. And then you can look outside or you can close your eyes. We're just going to take a few moments to tune into our body, starting again at the feet. So feeling the sensation in your feet, noticing if there's different qualities than when we started. Maybe different weight distribution than when we started. Can you feel all 10 toes on the ground? And we're going to tune into the top of our head, that magnet on the top of our head that's drawing us up towards the ceiling, towards the sky. That's the yang energy. It elongates the back of the neck. And as our head is drawing up towards the ceiling, we get everything else to just drop away, because the head is suspending us. So your shoulders can drop away from your ears, and your hips can drop away from your ears. The knees can bend slightly. So we're feeling the upward pull of the yang energy, and then we're feeling gravity take all our tissues inwards towards the earth. So the spine gets a little longer. Maybe the low back opens a little bit. The pelvis is heavy. Good. We can bring just a little movement into our hands and feet. We're going to do some circling with the knees and hips. So shift your weight into your right leg. Again, anytime we shift, we don't want to be like our shoulder over our hip. We want to try to see if we can funnel, as though we're pouring the weight down, funneling it through the center of our hip joint here, center of the knee, center of the ankle, and then the soles of the feet. So you can take this empty leg and do some circles with it, spiraling outwards. And there's different joints we could focus on, but I want you to bring your attention to your hip. So you can even take a little feel there if you want with your hands. But I want you to bring your mind's eye into the hip area and notice as you're rotating, what do you feel in the hip? Do you feel an area that's a little more pulling or a little clicking? There's no right or wrong, there's no good or bad. It's just, what is the sensation? What's the raw data here? As we rotate, it's almost like these repetitive motions are like when waves kind of come onto a rocky shore and they polish the rocks over time. So we're bringing this like hydration into our joints, and slowly, slowly with each repetition, letting things soften. Good. We'll bring that to a close. Shift, pour your weight into your left leg. Let the right one be nice and loose, and then we'll rotate the knee outwards in that right leg. Again, bringing your mind's eye into the hip. So it could be the middle of the hip joint, it could be the sides of the hip, top, the back of the hip, anywhere in this area. Notice what you feel. Also respect what you feel. So it's so easy to get caught into stories of like, oh gosh, I'm so tight. Why did I do that thing last night? Or why am I not working out the way I want to? But here, we're just gently bringing our mind back to the sensations. Keeping that magnet on the top of your head, so the back of the neck is elongating, the head is suspending towards the sky, not because you're pushing it up, but because there's an energy drawing it up. You're just tuning into that feeling of being lifted. Good. We'll bring that to a close. We're going to put our hands on the sides and do some hip circles. We're going to do them Tai Chi style, so nice and slow and with lots of awareness. So bring your hip to the side of the room, and we're going to take nice big stretches. Of course, if anything feels unsafe to you, you don't have to go so deeply. But I really want you to feel like your sacrum is drawing, especially when you get back to the back of the room, your sacrum, this bone here, is drawing back to the wall. It's getting stretched back towards that wall. And coming around, just feeling what's moving here. Letting the stretch be big, like you're drawing a giant clock, giant circle around you. If you're standing in the middle of the clock, you're trying to hit every number. And if you don't, we're trying not to judge, like, oh, I missed the 7, I missed the 5. There's nowhere to be other than where you are right now. So as your hips come back to the back of the room, drawing that sacrum towards the back wall, as though you maybe also have a magnet that's getting pulled towards the back wall. So that means your low back stays flat and open here. We're not arching the back. A lot of this, almost this entire class, we want to get away from arching the low back. So you can reverse directions. Noticing maybe where else in the tissue you're feeling a stretch. Like, are you feeling anything in your inner thighs? Maybe you can feel the shift in weight in your feet. Feel how as you're rotating your hips, your feet, the distribution of weight on your feet is also changing. Maybe your breath is changing. Maybe where you're holding the breath is changing. Trying to let the breath be free. Good. Good. And then winding that to a close. We're going to do some opening and closing of the spinal cord. It's similar to maybe like cat and cow in yoga, where we have like a more curved turtle-like position and a more open position. But when we go into the open position, we're not doing a back bend. It's really, we're going to, as I will say, we're going to like open the heart. So let's start first with the closed position. We're going to bring our hands up towards our face. The elbows are relaxed, heavy, and the shoulders are relaxed, not trying to hold our arms up. Take a look at your hands and just notice the qualities, notice the color, the lines, the temperature. And then we're going to bend our hips and knees. So we're going to sink a little bit in the hips, let the knees bend, and let the head fall to the chest. So we're coming into this kind of fetal position. We're not bending over too far. We're more letting the butt sink down and let the head fall. The back will be a little curved like a turtle, but you're just kind of letting your head fall towards your chest and in towards your hands. Your head and your hands aren't touching, but it's almost like your arms are cradling your face. So all of the yin side of your body, the front side, is getting a little closer to each other. And you're just trying to stay relaxed in the legs, relaxed in the shoulders, relaxed in the neck. You notice your neck is trying to creep up and bring your head up. Just let it fall towards your chest. Just let yourself be cradled here in this very womb-like position. And to come up, you're going to press through your feet to unbend your knees. And as you unbend your knees, your arms also fall gently towards the ground. So you're unbending your arms. And take a nice deep breath in as you extend your heart towards the water. So leading with your heart and your chest and sending the arms out to your sides. Stretch the fingers down into the earth as though they're getting stuck in the floor. And so you have a nice big open stretch between your heart and your hands. Good. And the head and the chin, they're not cranked back. It's just there's a gentle, very gentle arch in the back, but not really a back bend. This is not a back bend. This is chest opening. That's chest is leading. And the neck is very gently curved open. Maybe you're looking up a little bit, but you're not looking at the ceiling. On your next exhale, let yourself bend the knees, bring the elbows into your body, bend the elbows, coming back to that closed position. So this is we call the spinal cord closed position. But it's not really open. The back of your vertebrae are getting a little open stretch, all your back muscles. And we're just letting ourselves be so soft and yin here. Into that fetal position, really letting the head drop towards the chin. Very good, very good. Head drop towards the chin. Good, good, good. Just rest there. I'll tell you when to come up. Let your head rest. Bend your knees a little more, Brian. More. Yes, yeah. All the front parts of your body are getting closer to each other. Good. To come up, you're going to unbend the knees, press through the feet, let the arms drop. Open your chest up towards the water. And bring your hands back and down so you're stretching all the fascia, all of the tissue between the tips of your fingers and the chest, center of your chest. Good. Nice deep breaths. This is your yang position. And the back side of your body is still staying open. That's why we don't do a strong back bend. We still want the back to have this sense of openness. And now we're opening the front line of the body. And one more round, we'll go a little faster. Exhaling down. Bringing the hands towards the head. Chin drops to the chest. On your next inhale, press through the feet. Drop the hands. Open up. Good. And then relax back to neutral. We're going to bring the hands up above our heads, stretching towards the sky. You can look up towards the ceiling. Bring a stretch into your palms, so the front of your palms are opening wide. Feel your abdomen stretching up away from your hips. And then we'll let the arms drop and let the hips and knees drop. Okay? So we're going to now make this a dynamic motion where we're stretching up and then letting things fall. So, and just keep going. So your hips and your knees and your ankles are your shock absorbers. As you let your hands drop, the hips and knees and ankles absorb all that weight. And your head is staying over your belly. So we're not skiing. In Tai Chi, the spine really needs to be vertical. We want that spine to be straight and open. And then if our head it's a martial art, so we also want to be in a position where we can be alert. So all of these things that we're doing, they're preparing the body to do good Tai Chi. You can make this your own if you want to stop at any point and maybe tune into the stretchy part of it. Feel free to do that. Or if you really want to let your arms drop heavy, you can do that. So let this be your own today. Maybe you're feeling a little bit more like tuning into the openness or maybe feeling like you really want to let things go and let them drop heavy. Good. We're timing the upper and lower body, so there's a harmony between the upper and lower body. So as your hands fall, really let your knees and hips bend. Just a little more bending in the hips and knees, Brian. Good. And we'll let our arms tap the tops of our traps as we come up. We have some energy meridians there, like the small intestine and gallbladder lines. So we're waking those up. A few more rounds here. Noticing your breath change. Noticing where things are stretching, where things are getting looser maybe, where things still feel sticky. And then we'll bring that back to the center. We can shake our hands out. Bring a little more play into the elbows and shoulders. And then we're going to bring the whole body into this. So we'll start bouncing on our feet. Bouncing vertically. It's called shaking to ward off illness. To ward off illness. The Chinese practice. Usually done for many minutes at a time. I think maybe 9 minutes is common. Really letting your wrists and your hands flick. Be really relaxed in those wrists. As relaxed as possible in the ankles. Notice your breath changing. Letting the shoulders be relaxed and responsive to the movement. So everything is a little shock absorbing spring here. Nothing too rigid. And then we'll drop into stillness again. Bring your feet back under, hip width apart, shoulder width apart. And we're going to scoop some energy from the ground upwards into our body. Let the arms cross in front of us. And then kind of come into a starfish shape out here. Good, and let the arms fall gently. And we're going to scoop some more energy. You can even bend your knees and grab it through your hands. Bring it up through your feet, through your legs, through your torso, abdomen, shoulders, all the way up through your head. And let the arms fall. As though you have someone behind you letting your arms down for you. One more time, scooping up, bringing the energy in. And letting your arms fall. Good. Anyone have any questions? Anything they want to note? No? How are you guys doing? Good? Okay. Let's do some work for the low back. So it's similar to forward folds in yoga, but we have our own way of getting into it and getting out of it. So let me just show you really quickly. We're going to be stretching and elongating. When we come down, we're going to hang out there for a little while. We might do some things down here, but to come out of it, I want you to bend your knees deeply, like try to get your thighs parallel to the ground. Swing the arms forward, and we're going to lift, like as though we're carrying a giant beach ball. Press through the feet to lift that beach ball, and then press down. So let's get into it. We're going to interlace our hands by the low belly. This energy center here in the low belly is called the dantian. That's like the major energy center. You know, we have the chakras, right? But in Chinese, there's 3 major energy centers: low belly, heart, and head. They're all called dantian, but when people refer to the dantian, this is the major one they're talking about. It's your center of energy. It's often your center of mass or close to your center of mass. So we kind of start and end things here. Right? Interlacing your fingers, and we're going to bring our arms up to our chest. Keep the shoulder blades down. They're falling down your back. Once you get to about chest or throat height, flip your palms out towards the water, extend them out, and then let the sacrum and the palms of your hands get as far away from each other as possible. Extending the arms and the sacrum far away from each other. So stretching through, letting those arms try to touch, the palms try to touch the water, let that sacrum try to touch the back wall. And keeping that extension, start hinging at the hips to come down, bring your arms down towards the ground. Once you're down there, unlace your hands, let them go, let your shoulders relax, and let your head drop. So your head is heavy like a bowling ball, and your neck is not holding you up. So keep relaxing your neck down. Good. And keep breathing. So it may feel like a bit of a stretch on your legs. Anything feels unsafe, of course you can come up. Otherwise, just breathe. It's okay if your knees are bent. It's okay if your knees are straight. Just keep breathing. And let your shoulders go. And let your neck relax. Head dropping like a bowling ball. Good. To come up, I want you to bend your knees deeply. Try to get those thighs parallel to the ground. Swing your arms in front of you like you're picking up a giant beach ball. And then press through the feet to come unbend your knees. Come up, keeping that beach ball, and then press the beach ball down into the water. Good. We're going to do that again. When we get to the bottom here, we're going to paint the floor with our arms, but it's not our arms doing it. It's going to be a challenge to do the first time, but we're going to open the hips and the ribs away from each other, trying to keep the butt as stable as possible. So we're not shifting our weight. This is coming from this area, opening here, and then closing. So it's going to look like this. Okay. So let's start from the beginning. Interlace the hands by the dantian. Shoulders relaxed, shoulder blades coming down your back. On your next inhale, bring the hands up to chest height. Flip the palms, press away. Sacrum comes back towards the wall, and the hands comes towards the water, so you have a flat, extended back. And then let yourself hinge forward, keeping that extension. Trying to keep, as an extra challenge, the weight evenly distributed in the feet as you come down. When you get down, unlace the fingers, let your hands drop, let your shoulders drop, let your head drop, no tension in the neck. Let your head be heavy like a bowling ball, and just take a few breaths there. There might be more to go with your head and your neck. And then the right hip and the right shoulder are going to come closer to each other. So they're kind of like a little crunch on the side, or a little side bend. And then the left hip and left shoulder are going to come towards each other. And then you can just like let that flow. So your arms, you'll notice, may move and like paint the ground if you can touch, or like paint in front of you, but your arms aren't the thing doing any work. It's coming from your hip and your knee and your shoulder getting closer to each other. You guys look beautiful. Very good. Most of the time people's hips are just swaying and shifting side to side, so you guys all pretty much got that down. Looks good. You can Keep letting your neck relax and your head heavy. Heavy, heavy, heavy. Good. Relax the neck, heavy head. Good, you can bring that back to center, and then to come up, you're going to bend the knees deeply, thighs try to get parallel to the ground. Swoop the arms forward in front of you like you're picking up a beach ball. Press through the feet to unbend the knees. Keep that beach ball, and then press the beach ball down into some water in front of you. Good. I'm going to have you guys come into a deep squat. So we're going to heel toe the feet out so they get pretty far apart from each other, and then the toes are going to be facing outwards, so about like 45 degrees. And you're going to drop as though you're like dropping an anchor down. You're going to drop the front top of your body into your legs, and your knees, you're going to try to prevent them from caving in. So you want your knees to be ideally tracking just over the big toe or between the first and second toes. Good. Good, good, good. Let your pelvis drop as much as you can. If you notice that your back is a little arched, try to let that pelvis drop down so the front of the hips and the back of the hips are hanging evenly, and the knees are maybe even gently pressing outwards so that they're not caving in. And the head is suspended. It's still actually getting lifted towards the ceiling, and your pelvis is super heavy, just relaxing in between your legs. And we're going to take our arms in front of us. I'll face you now. And we're going to draw the bowstring. So your right arm is going to come into an L shape with your hands, and your left hand is going to pull the bowstring away. So your elbow is coming towards that wall, that left wall. And then the right arm is going to come out in front of you, and you're going to look through that L towards that wall. And the elbow of your left arm is drawing away back towards the left wall. If this feels a little nervy, like if you feel some sensations in your hands, that's just a sign that the nerves need a little more opening here, so it's not unsafe. Okay, and then you're going to bring the hands back to the starting position. So bring the elbows together in front of you. And then relax your hips down into your legs. Take some deep breaths. So next side, so your left arm comes into an L shape, the right arm pulls back, and you look through that L, looking towards the wall, through the L. Nice focused gaze, and the right arm, the elbow is drawing towards the back wall, or the right wall. And then come back to the center. So you can time this with your breath if you'd like. You don't have to time it with my words. Draw the hands out at the same time now, looking through the L, and then coming back to center. Looking through the L, letting the elbow draw away, keeping the pelvis dropping down, butt dropping down towards the floor. Back in at your own pace on your breath. We'll do 2 more rounds. One more. Really pulling that bowstring. And coming back to center. Letting yourself heel toe your legs back together. Good. We can shake it out. And let's do a little sitting meditation now. Give our legs a rest. We're going to grab some of the cushions here. So if you can, have your pelvis a little like towards the front of the cushion so that your knees can, if they can, rest on the ground. If they can't rest on the ground, it might be used, and it's maybe it feels like a little bit of a strain. We can put some more support in there under your knees. So now we can let our lower body just relax. We're not focused on the alignments there. The thighs might still want to squeeze. So we just gently bring our mind back. Anytime we notice any part of the body like getting really tense, see if we can bring the mind there and just let it soften. Like you don't have to work right now. So the head still has that magnet on it that's drawing up towards the ceiling. So it's lifting the back top of the head towards the ceiling, and the pelvis drops away. So give me a thumbs up if it's okay to come touch you or give you any alignment cues. Thumbs down if it's not okay. Okay. It's okay to touch you? Okay. So letting that head draw up towards the ceiling and let the pelvis sink deeper into the cushion. Feeling your sit bones get heavy on the cushion. Let your shoulders drop away from your ears. It's as though someone is holding you up. So now I'm going to let go, and it's as though I'm still there. And meanwhile, just take a little scan of your body and notice if anything is holding that doesn't need to be, that you can let drop towards the ground without really shifting your bones too much. Let your shoulders drop away from your ears. Yeah. Just going to read a passage from the Tao Te Ching. While you focus on those points where the crown is getting lifted towards the ceiling and the pelvis is dropping away, actually the whole body is dropping away from that top of the head. In the pursuit of learning, one does more each day. But in the pursuit of the Tao, or the way, one does less each day. One does less and less until one does nothing. One does nothing, and yet nothing is left undone. Gaining the world is always accomplished by following no activity. As soon as someone actively tries, they'll fall short of gaining the world. Without going out the door, one can know the whole world. Without looking out the window, one can see the way of heaven. The farther one goes, the less one knows. This is why sages know without going abroad, name without having to see, and perfect themselves through non-action. So let's just take a minute or two here to see how much we can not do. Maybe undo the stories that say we have to hold our back straight, undo the stories that say we have to manage our bodies, our emotions. We can observe them. We can observe those stories that come up, those thoughts. And then let's try to just stay in observation. Try not to manage. Try not to try. The more paradoxical things get, probably the more you're onto something. So let it be confusing, let it be paradoxical, let it be whatever comes up. Anytime you notice tension in the body, maybe your thighs, maybe your shoulders, just gently bring your attention there. See what can drop away towards the ground. Respecting what you feel and allowing whatever comes up to come up. As you breathe, if you can notice the space just under the front of your ribs, see if there's anything that can drop down from about rib height to about belly. So we're letting the diaphragm relax and all of the abdomen muscles around the diaphragm relax, drop into the belly. Still on that vertical line, but again, not managing if things aren't straight. Another passage from the Tao is, what is straight seems crooked. And what is crooked seems straight. Letting your tongue melt into your heart, relaxing through the throat, down towards the heart. Letting all the muscles of your face soften. And in these last few seconds, really tuning in to the top back of your head. The skin there being drawn up towards the ceiling, like it's suctioned up, magnetically pulled up. And let your shoulders drop away from that point, but that top of your head is still connected and getting drawn up towards the ceiling, towards the sky, through the top of the atmosphere, out into the cosmos. If your eyes were closed, slowly, slowly, slowly flutter them open. So you're receiving the light into your eyes. Let's take our left hand, bring it above our head, stretching the fingers towards the ceiling, and then we'll do a side bend here so you can use your right arm for support. And just stretching over the top, letting the hip of the left side stay down. So don't let the hip get drawn up, try to keep that hip down. And then we'll come back and do it on the other side. Right arm up. And use the left arm for support, drawing the fingers up first towards the ceiling, and then over to the side. Keeping the right hip down on the cushion. Good. Arms to the side. Up and over the head, just like we began the class. Sending our energy down the center channel of the body. Letting the hands rest on the low belly, the dantian, just below the belly button. And on your next breath, we're going to make our way to standing. So we don't leave on such a zen, yin side. We bring a little bit more yang energy so we can meet the world with that level of energy. We're going to end by tapping on the energy centers. So we're going to start by tapping one arm on the other. So using your fingers to go up one arm and down, making sure you get to the tips of your fingers. And then we'll do that on the other side. And then we're going to come down the torso, sides of the body, and then we're going to go down the outside of the legs and up the inside. So down the outside of the thighs, all the way to the toes, and up the inside of the thighs. Good, let's go again, outside, all the way to the toes, get the inside. And then we're going to go down the back and up the front. So down the butt, down the back of the legs, up the front. And one more time, down the back and up the front. Good. You can make your way back up to the chest. And then we'll go to the back of the neck and the traps. You can use your fingertips to tap the traps, up the neck, up to the back of the skull. And then we'll go up to the skull. I like to draw circles around the skull with my fingers. Tapping the top of the skull, all the way out to around the ears. And then you can come to the front, like the forehead, eyebrows, gently on the temples. You can go around the ears, around the cheeks, the bones of the cheeks, feeling the vibrations of your fingers on all of your bones, your cheekbones, your jaw. And then we'll go down the neck, front of the neck, sides of the neck, and make your way back to the lower dantian, the low belly. And we're going to end with 5 stomps. So we just pick one leg up and bring it down, other leg, 5 times. Great. Yay. Thank you, guys.